All right, welcome everybody to this Sunday's live stream. My name is Eben, and today we're going to be going through this painting that we started a couple weeks ago. I took a break last weekend, and I remember I was actually struggling quite a bit with this one, and sort of like reworking the same areas over and over again, and I think a nice opportunity to point out an example of maybe when I wasn't quite in the right mindset, and I wasn't doing what I needed to sort of keep myself energized and active and sort of in the right mindset for creating artwork. But I'm constantly learning about that, and so we live and we learn. And but I think there was a pretty solid foundation here, at least a good concept to work from, and I would like to take an opportunity today to just sort of dive right back in there and see if we can sort of convert this into something that I'm more pleased with, or that just works better as a piece, I should say. This is just a fun project I like to do all the time, usually for like older pieces after a lot of time has passed. But it's basically, if there's something that you like about it, even if the whole piece is not working for you, you can always go back in and shape it up. You can try new things. You can make drastic changes if you need to. And I'm starting to think about some drastic changes I might want to make here, but it's not too late to experiment. Don't hold on to it, or just focus on making small corrections if that's not the issue. Take a minute to look at it and figure out what it is that isn't working, and make the changes you need to make that happen. So that's what I'm going to try to do today, and I'm going to try to bring this to a finished state and something that I'm pleased with, that I can share with you all. And so if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and so you don't miss videos like this. I do live stream every Sunday, as well as new videos such as tutorials, time lapses, walkthroughs that I release every Wednesday. So welcome, Jose and Vieira. It's nice to see you guys here again, and we'll just get started here. So one thing I actually did that I do sometimes in I guess drastic situations, I suppose, but actually, since I happen to have a video of this, I scanned through the last video I made, and I took a screenshot. It's just this poor quality. Look at that, it's terrible. But what I liked about it was the shapes and the lighting, and this is just an example of a moment in the piece where I think I had things in a good state, but I just continued to rework them. Instead of leaving the shapes and key values as they were, I just sort of kept going over and over them and reworking things, not giving it the space it needed to breathe. So I went back. I fortunately had this all on video. I reworked everything, I rewatched everything, and I found this point in the video where I was like, you know what, that's a good starting point, at least for this particular area of the piece. So I just screenshotted it. I put it in here. I'm not worried about the quality right now. This is all just an underpainting at this point. We'll be going over everything again, but I just want to keep that there as a reminder to myself to not mess with things too much in this particular space. Now, as far as everything else goes, I don't know. I was looking at it yesterday, and I think there are a few things that aren't quite working here. And one of them, I think one thing that really sticks out to me as far as the whole composition is, let's just take a moment to sort of go through this and think about it out loud. Let's take out our thin brush here, make some, maybe we'll use something that'll work a bit faster here. Builder brush, perfect, great for notes. This part right here, it's not that it doesn't necessarily work for the composition, is that it just doesn't square well with the rest of the geometry of the room. Everything is very centered, circle-based. You don't see this element occurring anywhere else around here. And so for me, that really sticks out. You know, it just seems like these are kind of two, and this shape too. I mean, I don't even know what this is. It's like the edge of a hexagon or something, and that this is a square, this is a hexagon, these are all circles. There's no visual theme here. And so I think one of the first large-scale changes I want to make is making sure my visual theme is consistent, making sure that it's clear that the designers of the space, because as much as I am a designer of this space, there also was, you know, conceivably someone in this story, in this narrative, that designed this space, that built this room. They would not have done so thoughtlessly, and they would have kept some consistent themes and motifs going. So that's one thing I want to address right off the bat. I think the perspective is a little weird on this guy, but I'm not too concerned about that. This was just a quick sketch, and you know, there's plenty of time to revise that. I'm not I mean, all the shading back here is sort of confusing and not clear. I was just sort of rushing through that, and there's some inconsistent sizes with some of these elements, you know, in terms of their width and everything. And those are small adjustments, really, that you can always make throughout the painting process. But and then I think finally, aside from, you know, refining the details of this character here, which is going to be the most important, I'm not clear on how this color scheme is working, and I'm finding it difficult to sort of put words to it. But something about the dichotomy of the orange and the blue here, and then just the sort of general blue and gray saturation around here. I don't know if it's the color or perhaps the value. Maybe we can check our values here with a desaturation layer. So let's try that real quick to see. Oh, that's, what did I do? It should be set to saturation. That's weird. Why? Oh, because it's colored, obviously. I forgot how to do that for a minute. Right, so we can look at the values here. The values are... I'm looking up at the navigator right now, and it's not totally clear what's happening. And I think as much as I like the idea of having these like contrasting like orange and blue light here, it's just a bit complex, and if there's light coming from all these different angles, it's not that it wouldn't work, it's that, like, I think for me, I just need to simplify things, and to make this piece work for me, I need to simplify everything, to not be so concerned with all these different light sources and how they're interacting with all these different planes. This is something that might be really useful to whip up in Blender. Even something like something really quick, just like the interior of a cylinder and some things like that, and then put these light sources in there so that you could really see how the light is affecting the area. But unfortunately, I'm just not able to conceive of that right now. So I'm just going to simplify things for myself, and I'm probably going to at least experiment with modifying those other light sources from the doors here, and maybe thinking about some new ways we can frame our lighting, and we can still use that orange and blue contrast, but maybe think about doing it in a different way. And I think another thing I'm seeing here, you know what we can do? We can actually just merge this screenshot down, because like this, I don't want it. So we're just gonna do that. I'm gonna color balance this whole thing. I want to get more blue in the shadows, and maybe even the midtones as well. And what else? We need more darker values in here. I mean, that's something we could add in later, but I'm not too worried about it. Lighten up those highlights as well. But let's just think about our structural things here. In reference to what I was saying earlier, I think we just need to. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this in case we make some changes that are really stupid. And of course, that's not the right term, because anytime you're painting, you're not wasting time. You're not making poor decisions. You're learning all the time. You're making judgment calls, and then you're looking to see if those calls are panning out for you. And it's just, you're always going to be learning if you just maintain an open and conscious mindset about this whole thing. So I think I like the circular dynamic of this. And I almost want to, maybe it could be like a spiral or something that comes around, but I do want to keep that consistent, so I'm just going to adjust my foreground here. I'm really not worried so much about, I'm actually going to drop the resolution a bit too, actually, because I don't quite need this high at this point. Maybe we'll drop it down to 3000 width. And we can always sharpen it up later on when we add more textures and stuff, but that's just going to help me improve the responsiveness of my brushes, because even the most well-crafted brush will still suffer at higher resolutions. So we're just going to go in here and sort of mess around with this. Let's look at our original sketch too. I forgot about that. I think that's what this is. Let's just turn all this off for a minute. Okay. See, like this, for some reason, this was working for me, and this isn't. So let's just compare the two for a minute. I mean, it could be the absence of those other lights. Like, I feel like this was very simple and monochromatic, and I think the figure was more clear. That was a bit more well-rounded. So we can draw on that as we move forward and adjust that figure as well. We can even keep this sketch layer up and just sort of paint him within that. But I think for now, I wanna get rid of these lights. I wanna simplify our lighting structure. I want to make this more monochromatic. And I apologize to the people that suggested, or I maybe it was my idea, maybe it was someone else who commented, I can't remember, about these lighting schemes. And like I said, it's not that it's a bad idea to have these here. It's just, I'm making an evaluation for myself and for I want to complete this piece, and in order to complete this piece, I need to sort of put myself in a mindset that's going to work. And for that to happen, sometimes you need to just simplify things. So, I mean, what if we this whole thing back here is just bugging the heck out of me. So we're just gonna sort of I'm just gonna ruin this whole I don't know if you guys are cringing about this right now, but for me it's actually quite a relief. So so yeah, this is important. This is central to my my whole creative philosophy. Like, I say this literally all the time, just sort of in passing, but I can't emphasize this enough. Nothing is sacred here, and that doesn't mean your art isn't important. It means that if you have a better idea and you can do it, go for it. Or even if you don't, even if you just know something isn't working, just just keep work, just, try something new, try something drastically different, just shock yourself with the choice that you make. Always, that doesn't mean like constantly reworking and revising things, but it can mean making a bold decision, like, painting over something you've spent hours working on. Just because you've invested a lot of time into something doesn't mean it's good. And that's like something I definitely didn't get for a long time. Is, I would have all these like old PSDs of things where I'd like put all this time into it, and there are all these like details and stuff, and I just sort of lost motivation over a while. It's like, it's just not quite working. I would reworking all these different sections, and I would be making a lot of small like detail changes, but not actually, just sort of missing the point of what actually wasn't working, and sort of not acknowledge, almost like unconsciously not acknowledging that it wasn't working because I had spent so much time on it. I was like, I can't change that, because if I change that, it means all this time has been wasted. Well, it hasn't been wasted at all, because you learned something. I mean, you created something that doesn't work, and now you know that it doesn't work. And that's something that you can take with you to every painting that you ever create moving forward. Whereas if you just didn't believe that, if you just stuck with it and just kept sort of bullheadedly, sinking hour and hour into this piece and all these details without really coming to terms with the fact that you may have quote unquote wasted all that time, then you're not going to learn those things. So, and also the piece is going to suffer, right? You're not going to get a good piece out of it, and that's what we want. We want to learn. We want to make some good stuff here. So that's my ramble here. I'm pretty hopped up on green tea, so feeling preachy right now. Just gonna check out the comments here for a second. Yeah. Yeah, I actually I don't do a lot of monochromatic schemes in my work, which is kind of also why I'm interested in exploring this as well, because I guess I'm usually tempted to make those really dramatic moves. I think the other issue that I'm sort of like now picking up about that is the lights, because of the nature of what they were, like every door was shedding light. So maybe if it was just one that was right behind him, it might have worked. Or maybe if it was like a bigger door right behind him or some other singular light source. But they were sort of equally weighted light sources around, every side of this. And that's like a third of this painting. And, it was disrupting the focus. There wasn't any clear, it was sort of drawing attention equilaterally in a bunch of different directions. And that just doesn't work compositionally. I want all of my attention to be funneled right here, maybe right to his face, So yeah, if you're working and you're afraid to be making drastic changes like this, even like if I had I only put a couple hours into this at first, but even if I'd gone further in the detailing phase and then I realized something wasn't working, I really can't tell you how much of a relief it is to go in and just start just start mucking it up. It's almost like it's almost cathartic, and I think it's also, maybe it was more satisfying with like traditional oils, but it still applies here. It's just you're acknowledging where you went wrong, and you're moving forward with it. very fun. Just like marking up something. And like that even goes for a completed piece or anything like that. I mean, with digital, it's different because once you've saved and exported a file, or if you have backups of your Photoshop file, or backups even in layers of your Photoshop file, like I do right here, there's not really the same risk, but that's also part of the reason why I prefer to work on one layer. It's like you're always accountable for what you're doing. You know, you can't just constantly be moving back and forth between different decisions and kind of like, maybe do I like that? Like, you know, maybe I should try that, or like maybe this, you know, just being very sort of tentative in your decision making. Like, make bold decisions. Just like put a stroke across the canvas, make it happen, and then see if it works. If it doesn't, just keep painting. Like, there's you can just keep working it. And like, I don't know, I feel like there's so many better strategies I could be using for like creating a can I put this back in my my window here, please? Thank you. Oh yeah, I should go into the full screen mode. By the way, if you're working in Photoshop, if you don't know this already, hit F. Just sort of clears out everything. And I think one of the key differences for me with this mode, the full screen mode, is in regular mode, when you're zoomed out, you can't move the canvas around. So if you have references or anything up here, which I should right now, but I forgot to grab some before I dove in here. And I don't really want to take up your time sort of sorting through all the ones I have. We might pull some up later, but when you go into full screen mode, you can move this around, and it's just much easier for your overall space and workflow here. So anyway, what I was saying is that there are probably more practical methods of developing, you know, this 3D space accurately, but I'm going really old school right now. And notice I still have this sketch up, and without it, everything looks pretty messy. But you know, like I said, I'm not super worried about it. I'm even going over this figure a little bit, and partially because I know that I have another record of them on the other layer, but also because I can always improve that too. Like, it's just because I had an okay concept at first doesn't mean I can't get better at it. And this is like, this is the core of this approach, really, is you're building faith in yourself and your skill set. What you've put on the page is not you. It's not your potential. It's just, you know, sort of a quick, vague manifestation of that. But when you do something like working on a single layer, or, you know, just painting over something, or like deleting, you know, an old record of something, you're basically, it's a statement of faith in yourself and your skills. You're like, yeah, I created something cool, but I created that, and I know I can make something better. I know I have those skills. My skills are getting better every day. Just because I happen to make something cool doesn't mean I can't do it again. And in fact, you know, revisiting that will allow me to sort of think about it and like, what did I do to make that cool figure, or like that cool lighting effect? You know, what exactly was working, and how can I replicate it? Just, you know, doing it once and then just leaving it on the page is not going to teach you anything. Anyway, yeah, this is still a big mess, but I think it already, like, it feels better to me. It feels a bit simpler. It feels stronger. Maybe there can be some other columns. You know, we can get a bit more varied with our architecture here and try some different stuff out. But by the way, I see there are a few people just sort of hanging out watching, and if you haven't already, feel free to just drop a comment, drop a question. anything you are wondering about, or anything you want to learn about for your own process, or if you just have any questions generally, just feel free to drop them there anytime. I am watching those, and I do like to have some conversations about what I'm doing here. That's kind of the point of these live streams, is like I want to open up the conversation with you guys and see what you're experiencing, and maybe even be able to offer something to you that might be helpful for you and your artwork, or just even if you're not an artist yourself and you're watching this, there are so many applications for these mindsets, in everything you do. I was writing up this email recently, and I kind of came up with this this thought. Everyone, no matter what you're doing, is in the business of creation. It's just a fact. I mean, no matter what you're doing, if you're creating a product like a shoe, or or if you're creating spreadsheets, or you're creating a book or an article, or a plan for like a zoning regulation. I don't know. Everyone's in the business of creating. And with that, there are shared mindsets that are extremely powerful and potent. And, the sooner you realize that what you're doing is creativity, that what you're doing is inherently creative, the sooner you can realize that these principles can apply to you. You can look to artists and musicians and people that you normally consider to be, creative people, and understand that we're all doing the same thing here. Yeah, Jose is saying, every time I finish a piece, I just recognize something that I absolutely nailed, but I keep forgetting to push that detail even further. That's actually, I'm kind of the same way, to be honest. I was just listening to this talk on Tyler Edlin's channel. If you haven't checked out his stuff and you are an artist, you owe it to yourself to look into it. Tyler Edlin and his videos and his talks have been like, instrumental, if not life-changing for me and my artistic development. So go check that out. But I was just listening to one recently where he was having this conversation with his old college professor, and one of the things they were talking about was, you have to be willing to, not for every piece, but you need some pieces, like every now and then, that you are really bringing to a finished state. Not just a sketch that you can throw up on Instagram really quick, which is like always so tempting. I feel like in this current age with social media and everything, it's just like, yeah, just create something so you can throw it up there and get more posts, get more followers, so you can get your name out there. But you need to spend some time really investing in a piece for 10, 20, 30 hours even. Really bring it to that final state, because that's what's going to show people what you're capable of. That's what's going to show prospective clients or art directors or whatever it is, what you can really do. Because, even if you're really good at making quick sketches, which you should be, it doesn't show the full extent of your skills and what you can do in the detailing phase. So that's something I'm going to try to work on as well, is like really bringing a piece to a finished rendered state. Get all that nice texture in there. Make sure your details are working right. Make sure your edges and shapes are refined and like solid, And this piece is far from it, and that's kind of part of the reason why it's a little difficult to show you guys everything during these live streams, because I try to keep them to 2 hours, and you can make a finished piece in 2 hours, obviously, and I have here many times, but it's not gonna it's not necessarily something you're going to want to put up on your portfolio or anything like that. You know, it might be a nice painting, but if you really want to show people what you're capable of, you gotta. It's worth, you know, putting that extra time in there and really bringing it to the next phase. All right, so I've just been sort of sketching about here around this background. I think what I should do at this point is actually use some of Photoshop's handy tools here, and really get these shapes right. So let's just go around, clarify, simplify. Use my mixer brush here a little bit. I'm not worried about this character right now. Maybe I'll include some shadow area around here. Maybe not. It's gonna mess up my circle actually. So let's just invert that. It's often really difficult to tell how lighting is working in this situation, because it's sort of, the light is embedded in the ground, but it's also sort of coming above the ground, so it's going to be casting light over here, and you have to think about like the angle of the light, where it's hitting. It's probably going to be hitting the wall at a more direct angle than the ground. So I'm just going to actually, I think I made the ground around here too light. So let's just keep it really simple. Let's just bring out a soft round brush here, and just like, I'm just gonna look in my navigator here. Really, before we go into any of these details here, let's just like go super digital with this. Let's even pick this side color. We can just increase the vignette effect here by dampening down some of these external light areas, really drawing more focus to the center there. All right, so next, let's just brighten these up, areas where maybe not quite there. I think and this is where a reference would be super useful. But I know this is like such a specific scenario. I don't know if I would be able to find a reference for this, which is why I'm not doing it now and trying to and taking up your time with it. You know, it's okay. Like I'm right now acknowledging a gap in my visual library. That's something Walid talks about a lot. It's a great term, you know. It's just like, I haven't done enough studies of this particular scenario to really fully imagine how light is going to be interacting with this corner here. My instinct says like there might be a little spot of shadow here, but when I look up at the navigator, it kind of looks pretty weird. And it's not like there's a gap there. It's literally just a corner, and sometimes those are the hardest areas to plot out. Anyway, I'm not gonna like fuss about it so much right now, because I may need to just go and pull up a reference later. I could even like try to create something like this in my house, like you know, just take a I don't know, like the inside of a ice cream container. I don't have like a gallon, you know, like the interior of a cylinder. You know, cut a hole in the bottom, put a little light bulb there, and see what happens. You know, that would be a pretty interesting experiment to see what happened there. I'm noticing right now this thing is a little off center. But like, if you don't have the right reference for what you're doing, that doesn't mean you don't need one, or you couldn't use one. It just means you have to get a bit creative with it. So just making sure this guy is centered, and I'm probably going to use the same strategy to adjust his circle as well. Might as well do that now. And maybe I would like to use the same circle, so get it approximately right like that. This is kind of an elaborate strategy, but I think there's something you can do with shapes that would be better for this, but oh, it got cut off a little bit there. It's okay. It does seem a little bit, yeah, it's a bit better. So I can then select that. Control, click on the layer image. It's not a complete circle, but it'll do. I can hide that. Then I could go back in with my highlight color here. Or maybe not that bright, but map out this shape. And then invert that. Everything around this edge is going to be a much lighter value. I'm sort of just guessing around this side. I could actually what I can do for that other side is I can reopen this and deselect. I can take this, transform, flip horizontal, and just scoot it over a little bit. Till it lines up. Invert. It was a little off. And I think this whole thing is just a bit too high for what it is. So I'm gonna move this guy again. I'm not worried about the edges. Copy, paste, transform. Just move him down to the center. And I guess to ease that transition a little bit, I can erase away some of these. Well, not all of them, but some of these edges. Whatever. And just smooth that stuff out later. Let's flip this, see how things are looking. All right, I'm kind of seeing it now. It's really rough, but yeah. Check out Tyler Edlin. Awesome stuff. He has his own. He does a lot of stuff. He does courses. He has his YouTube channel. It's all great. So I'm actually gonna borrow this shape again. Actually, we can even take this guy because we know it's the same proportion. Blow it up. I just want to find that angle, or that. And I think this is gonna be, because it's closer. It's hard to say because it's closer to us. I think it's going to be a bit wider. Honestly, your typical audience probably is not going to notice this, but it's just good habit to get into, to think about your proportions and how everything's working in the 3D space here. So I'm just gonna go around. I'm looking up at the navigator. I'm not even looking at my page here. Just want to make sure this looks right in terms of a shape, in terms of the overall perspective. Zoom out a little bit. I don't think it does, and I don't think I was right about that that shape. Let's try that again. this thing here. Hang on a sec. Deselect. Okay. Let's bring you up. Make it nice and big. You can make it even higher. Make sure it's sort of lined up. Let's just drop the opacity to see how it squares with everything. Move it over a little bit. Just sort of eyeballing this. Again, this is where like Blender would come in super useful. I have been learning that a little bit. Not nearly enough though. It's always like this weekend project, you know, because I'm just so busy with all this other stuff. I'm always like, ugh, I don't have time to learn a whole new program right now. I like know the very basics. I can like create a cube. But you know, once you do learn it well, it will save you a lot of time in situations like this. I'm not totally sure about that, but whatever. I guess I just picked a really what I need to do is change the perspectives of these doors here too. Yeah, I really created a challenge for myself here. In terms of the perspective. You know what? Let's see if I have anything in my references folder for this. Portfolio references, architectural. It would be kind of wild if I did, but that's something. I need more of these. Let's bring this up for a minute. That's not what I meant to do. Actually, copy. Let's bring up pure ref here. It's going to be much easier. Hello, paste. What is it? Control Shift A. There it is. Always on top. What if we made this thing into a big spiral? I know I've been spending the past 45 minutes turning it into something that is not that. But since we have the reference, could be a spiral. Might be easier to. I think that's what I originally intended for this, but I don't know. Maybe these doors are just not doing it for me. All right, let's try that. That's cool too, because we have a, we have kind of an entrance point to this piece. Again, Blender would be so useful right now. Get rid of the doors. We don't need them. This piece is never gonna get finished. It's okay. It's all about the process, you know? I'm learning. Hopefully you guys are learning something too. I just want to make sure I have like a something I can put on my thumbnail that looks like moderately okay. I don't know, but maybe I won't. Just be like, here's how you can spend 4 hours on a piece and not finish it. That can be my my tagline. I kind of like this better though. Yeah, all time well spent, really. Maybe this doesn't have stairs. Maybe I won't make stairs because that sounds like a lot of work. Kind of cool though. I mean, like, you start up here, you got this guy who is now he's been exploded. He's no longer a person. Let's give him a head. Got this guy up here at the top, you know. And this is a much more simple layout. Got the staircase. Or not even a staircase, just a. I mean, it could probably be a staircase. I can use these. Maybe I can use these somehow as a. The stairs on the left, I can use those somehow, or I can just make really big steps, so I don't have to spend so much time. Working on the steps aren't that hard actually if you use the lasso tool, that kind of thing. This guy, I feel like he should have some shadows up here, like darker values, contrast. Poor thing. He's been through so many different iterations of creation. He doesn't know who he is anymore. And all this is, I gotta fix all these lines here. Bring out my mixer brush. Got our Fibonacci staircase here. Maybe there can be some doors and things, just sort of some hidden stuff up here as well. Ooh, there's like, with this mixer brush, sometimes it just like picks up random colors from the edge of the canvas and moves them on there. I don't know what that is, but sometimes it can be sort of interesting. Because it's like dragging some reddish things in here, and I'm almost tempted to push that even more. Let's try it. Just like maybe there's some reddish lights. Nothing too crazy, but like some things here and there. Maybe they're just some dull torches on brackets that are casting some soft glows. And definitely up here, like where this guy is. Let's get even redder with it. And maybe he can have a red robe or something, but not that bright. I don't know. And this whole thing looks kind of weird. I think already this is just like a much simpler concept and sort of more compelling. it's like you're being led down into it. You're not just sort of this passive observer. Let's flip it upside down and see. Oof, that hurts. But like, you notice how it's just not really recognizable from this this perspective, and that just means that there's a lot more work to do around the perspective and the lighting and everything. So. Get some of that glow hitting the edge of the stair here. This mixer brush is very aggressive lately. Maybe it's just because, I should probably just be consciously picking my colors instead of just relying on the mixer brush to do everything for me. Spooky, scary skeleton, that's right. Summoned from the depths below. Let's see how that sketch looks against this. Oh my god, it's gone so far from the sketch. Let's just move that down because I like to have that. I like the perspective I set up with the sketch. So I'm gonna go back in and sort of try to follow that a little bit again. I want to move this head. See, there's still that zoom icon down there. I didn't even realize from the screenshot. Copy paste. Whoops. Copy paste. Thank you. And then let's just move that down. So I like it better there. Get the spooky music. Let's bring that up. Oops, did I just skip it? I don't know what I did. That's not spooky at all. It's very relaxing. Let's go to the next one. What was that one we were just listening to? It's also very relaxing. Whatever. I can be relaxed. It doesn't have to be spooky right now. I mean, it can be spooky and relaxed at the same time. That's always possible. Oh yeah. Well, good to hear you ended up joining us, Sam. And other Sam. Hey, what's up, guys? Yes, I am doing a stream today. I was taking a short break. I just took a long weekend last week, but I just couldn't keep away. No, it was much needed. I feel much better. I was just a little overworked, overtired, and needed to rest and walk outside for a few days and put everything down, put down the social media and all that. Because as much as I enjoy connecting with people on there, it's just it can be a chore, as I'm sure you know, to just be keeping up with that. There are many different platforms to maintain and all that. So, but besides that, there were a lot of different projects I was working on, and I just needed to sort of step back for a minute and rejuvenate preemptively, because it's you don't want to wait till you're you're dead on your feet to take that break. Do it while you still have a bit of energy, so you don't totally crash. Or don't wait till you're sick or you're, or just, till you end up, just pushing yourself too far. It's just not gonna help you at all. Anyway. Yeah, I think a lot of people are working hard right now, and especially people that are working from home. It's a whole different type of fatigue and of strain, and it's almost like you're not. It's like the inactivity of your body is almost more strenuous on your mind and your body than actually, a more physically demanding job. I don't know what you guys do for work, but yeah, I mean it's not easy. All right, let's take a moment to let's make some stairs. This is gonna be interesting. I'm just sort of eyeballing this. Maybe. What do I want to do here? I guess I just don't. They'll have to be pretty shallow. Already, that's. Alright, okay. Oh, that's my phone going off. Fun ringtone, right? Alright, maybe I'm gonna make these longer. I'm probably overthinking it. Well, let's not worry about the other side for now. Whoops, there's the other side. Invert. Yeah, burnout is real, man. And I worked in a kitchen for years and years. That was the last job I had before I switched to my own stuff full time, and I feel like it was definitely present there, and I'm sure it's present in a lot of other industries as well. But it was just kind of like, you just like suck it up and put the work in, and like you work till you can't anymore, and then you go home and you drink 5 beers and then you do it again the next day. It's like it's not sustainable, man. I'm not saying it doesn't get results. I'm not saying you can't do it that way. Maybe you can, or some people can, but it's it's not sustainable. It's not going to get you the most output in the end, really. Like, if you want to do hard work, if you want to do a good job, if you want to get a lot done, that's not how it's going to happen. And it's been a process of, like, now it's like mostly just me that's accountable for making sure I get enough done. I mean, it's really only me. I'm the only person who is telling me what to do on a given day and how much time I have and what I need to get done. So it's you know, it's been a process, just like getting comfortable with that, and like knowing that I don't have to work like that, and in fact it's better for me not to. I'm gonna get more done in the long term if I can learn to recognize when I'm fatigued, when my output is just climbing down, when it's like, you know, I'm wrapping up, you know, just an 8-hour project, and everything I do is just, you know, labored and agonizing. My output, my speed, my energy, that's all just plummeting, and it's just not worth continuing at that point. And in fact, it may be worth just taking taking a day off, or in the case of last weekend, I took just a long weekend, 4 days off, to really restore yourself back to a place where you're going to be able to get that consistent output without sort of dragging yourself down. Be a robot, no. Yeah. Worked in a kitchen, yeah. Since I was 13 or 14, my first job was dishwashing at a college dining hall. And, you know, it was kind of a matter of, you hear this from people that work in the food industry all the time. It's just like, it's kind of I don't want to say a vicious cycle, because it's not like all the work is bad, but like a lot of people get into it and didn't expect to be doing it for as long as they did, or for the rest of their lives, because it's just you know, once you start, first of all, it's like the highest per hour wage you can make at like an entry level position compared to most jobs, at least around here. So that was, you know, working in a kitchen, it was just like the best bet when I was starting out then. And then once you start, you know, that's just what you're qualified to do. You know, anything you can't, you know, you spend a few years sort of working your way up, you get to start doing prep work, and which is what I did, and then eventually start to cook and serve to people. It's like, you can get a lot more of a starting wage, which like relatively still isn't that much, but then like trying to start something else, and certainly at the time then like trying to make a living as an artist, which I wasn't even really considering back when I was a teenager. But let's see, where was I going with that? Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, I've worked a lot of different jobs, but I did landscaping, I did, what else? So I'm not really able to think and paint at the same time here. What else did I do? I did landscaping, did groundskeeping, I worked at a supermarket. I was a substitute teacher for a little while. I was a college tutor. Substitute teaching was horrible, actually. Did not pay very well at all. Worked at a bar. Yeah, all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, I kept coming back to the kitchen work, and that's what I was doing for the longest. And I was delivery driver for a place for a while. Then I was a cook there, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't like get into any serious kitchens, really, and that's when like that mentality that I'm talking about, it was like cranked up to 300%. I heard horror stories from like cooks I worked with who had like gotten out of that. They're like, yeah, dude, it's no joke. I mean, it's a lot of anger, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of drug use, just constant, just pressure, constant, like, you know, long hours, like just outrageous bosses, and like a lot of abuse, frankly. But I didn't ever get into any of that. I worked a lot of pretty low end kitchens, but that mentality was still pervasive. I mean, even the people that had gotten out of those higher end kitchens and like moved down to something a bit more a bit less intense, they still brought that mindset with them. And so like even in these small kitchens, it's always just like that mentality persisted. And it just I never really questioned it. It's kind of just like when everyone buys into it, nobody really takes a minute to question it. And it's not like I totally burnt myself out all the time. It was just like it was like, well, it did actually, you know, it did all the time. And I developed some really bad work habits because of that. And it was just always like, you were sort of rewarded for, you know, putting that extra mile in when you really couldn't, when your body was just telling you like, dude, stop. So, yeah, it's been a process, sort of convincing myself, and also it's taken a lot of other people telling me constantly that I need to take a break, which annoys the heck out of me, to be honest. But it is there's good intent behind it, and it's true, and it's not. And for me, it's a matter of recognizing that that's not just what I need. It's what's going to be best for my work and my business. It's what's going to be best for my productivity. And at the end of the day, is you know, just is taking that time, because yeah, we're not machines, unfortunately. As much as I try to. I mean, not unfortunately. It's great being human. I love it. But not that I've ever known anything else. I love being human. It's been a great ride. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I feel like I've just sort of made the same point over and over, but you get what I'm saying. It's been tough to learn how and when to create breaks, and to like actually not just to create breaks, to treat yourself. I don't mean like you know, binge watching Netflix and eating a tub of ice cream. That's not. I mean like really figuring out what's best for your bodily health, and also enjoyable. Like that's a relief for your mind. And like sometimes that is making art. Like sometimes, like, you know, during my my breaks, sometimes I'll just get really into making some personal work, and that's great. Because it also like sort of restores that connection with the medium. It's like, oh yeah, like this is why I do that, because it's fun. Not just because it's like what I need to be doing to pay the bills, but yeah, it's everywhere, man. In this country, I think, and it's not the same all over the world. I don't know too much about it, but I have been working with people all around the world recently, and I think it's fairly you know, it's fairly unique. Not unique necessarily, but it's just like very present here in the U.S. It's just like it's like our our understanding of the human machine has not quite caught up yet. Anyway, I've just been spending a lot of time rambling about myself and messing around with these stairs, which probably isn't like the best use of my time, but whatever. I would like to be able to get a finished piece for you guys today, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much to me right now. And the point of these streams, it's like, hey, I want to get to know you guys, and you know, give you an opportunity to chat with me a bit. You know, the YouTube chat is not the epitome of a conversational tool, but you know, it's good to be able to talk about art, talk about life in real time like this. So I'm not worried about getting a finished piece. I might work on this on my own time and record it for you guys if you want to see the rest of it. What time is it? It's 3. Yeah, I've still got some time here. Still got 45 minutes left. But yeah, you can't rush it if it's not happening, you know. But I do feel way better about this, and I'm definitely enjoying working on this a lot more than I was before, and that's really really important. Like if you're spending all these hours working on a piece and just miserable the whole time, why are you even doing that? And I've done it. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm exempt from that. It's just something you should be asking yourself. I think Trent I never know how to pronounce this. Kanuga? I think it's Kanuga. Check out his channel as well. It's great. It's a lot of tough love for artists, which is, I think, what a lot of us need right now, to be honest. Because and Tyler Edlin and his professor were making the same point as well. Because like artist mindsets and work ethics have changed a lot over the years, and like with that, there have been positive things, like what I was just talking about with you. Like we're understanding, I think, more than ever, that you can't work yourself to death, because it's just not going to benefit your craft. It's not going to benefit your business or whatever you're working on. Your output is going to drop as you sort of burn through your body and your energy and all of that. But also with that, other things have changed, like competitiveness for artist jobs, I think, has increased quite a bit. The level of skill required just for like entry level positions at a game studio, or you know, a film studio, or even just for, you know, cover art and that kind of thing, it's just increased quite a bit. I think less so for general illustration, because there's more stylistic opportunity and input there, but yeah, so skill requirements have increased, demands for work output have increased. I've heard a lot of horror stories about like these game studios where, like, you know, you're gonna have to work like 100-hour week, many weeks in a row perhaps, to meet a deadline, and whether or not that's something you want to get into is up to you. But anyway, Trent was talking about, he was basically making a similar point, like if you, and telling people the reality that if you're not enjoying this, you should just stop. Like there's no working around that. Like I mean, obviously there are going to be points when it's going to be more work than fun, because it is, if you treat it like your job, that's inevitable. But ultimately, there should be a reason why you're doing this over something else. It's not going to be the benefits or the pay or the insurance, because you don't get any of that. unless you manage to land like a gig with a studio or something like that. They do offer salaries and that kind of stuff. But if you're trying to make art your career, which I'm assuming a lot of you are, or maybe you're not, and that's fine too. It just means you're gonna have a different relationship with your work. But if your goal is to become a professional artist, you got to realize the only you have to be in it for the art. It's really not a smart, quote unquote, like smart or prudent career path, and I've recognized that from day one. So if you're not aware of that, I mean, maybe in some ways it is. I mean, there's definitely room for debate there. For example, if you really, work your ass off, get your skills really good, really level up your abilities and sort of reach a certain level of skill and notoriety in the art community, your work will start to pay for itself. You can charge a lot more for a lot less time. You can get a wicked hourly rate on the stuff you do, and B, you can develop passive sources of income, creating digital products and tutorials and courses, or selling prints and that kind of stuff, where you don't necessarily need to be putting all the time that you would have otherwise with commissions. But from what I understand about most people that achieve any semblance of professionalism with their art, it's always going to be a hustle. I know that personally, just from what I've been doing, which what I do is very, I am a young professional. I'm not by any means a veteran of the industry, but I do make a significant part of my living with artwork, and from what I've seen, that's just kind of the thing. And so it's just a lot of self-marketing and a lot of unpaid work, a lot of time you're putting in just to promote yourself, just to get your name out there, even, just to compete with the flood of other artwork that people are sort of being bombarded with every day. Yeah. Anyway, check out the video. Trent Kaniuga. Kaniuga. It's a good one. He's, don't take my word for it. Listen to the veterans, professionals. He's got a huge professional history that I do not. But Adam Duff. I'll check it out. Nice. Yeah. Well, and that's the other benefit of working for yourself is you are in control of your own destiny. I don't answer to anyone else but myself and how I want to do things. And to a certain extent, that's always present in a job. You always get to make those choices, but you have full responsibility for the money you're making, for your income, and it means you get to make those choices. If you want to take a day off, you can do that whenever you want. You just have to weigh that choice. You have to figure out if it's a smart decision. It's and most of the time it's not, but sometimes for your business, but you have to weigh that against your health, and your productivity. So here we are. I think can't wait to never work on this again. I'm being facetious, but I don't know. Sometimes an idea just doesn't pan out. But these stairs are fun. I don't know. I should probably do something about this guy. Let's bring out, I don't know, some of that red lighting, because I think there was some of it up here. I'm just gonna tap some of that in. Maybe there's like some of that over here. Oh, his skull is just floating there. Let's merge that down. I mean, ultimately, it's very hard to talk and work at the same time. But that's just what I've gotten myself into here. So, that's okay. I know I'm not going to create my best work while I'm yammering about working in a kitchen. Oh, that's kind of cool. Just seeing some nice lighting things starting to happen here. I probably should have been putting more time into this guy earlier on, just because he's important, you know. I spent a lot of time with those stairs, and honestly, there are probably quicker ways I could have done that. But I don't know. Sometimes you're just painting, you know. You're not even like accomplishing anything. You're just painting things, and that's okay. I keep telling myself. I'm also just using this same brush, and like there's some more complex strategies I could be using here. Smudge tool, see what that can do for us. Maybe there's some weird materials happening here. This is a strange brush I picked up. Let's change that. So, I mean, what have you guys been working on lately? Has there been anything you've kind of hit a wall with your work, or just working from home generally? I mean, what are you guys what are you doing these days? What are you struggling with? Maybe you're not. If you're not, that's great. If you're just like gliding by right now, props to you. It's great, man. I mean, I recognize I'm doing a lot better than a lot of people are in this pandemic situation, so I'm just I'm interested in hearing what's going on for you guys as well. While this nice relaxing music plays in the background. yes, the yucky beginning phase. The early darkness at 5 p.m. Yeah, I know. It's actually for the first time in a week I'm seeing out my window now. It's starting to get sunny, so I'm gonna try to get out for a nice long walk after this. But yeah, the early, depending upon where you are in the world, but for us here in the U.S., it's been getting quite dark, quite early. So, Sam, in reference to your point, Sam is saying I definitely felt like I've hit a creative wall. I keep struggling with the yucky beginning of the process where it all looks bad. Yeah, that's a great point. Something I used to hit all the time, and I mean I still do. Obviously, whenever you start something out, it's not going to look the best it can be. And I think what happens is like you see that, and then you make a judgment call about your art or yourself or your abilities, and I think that's where the struggle is ultimately. You know, it's not that you know, we are human beings. We are observers of our own work. And it's only a struggle when we look at what we've created and make some kind of judgment call about it that's exhausting for us. That's sort of damaging or disruptive for us. And I know that very well. I know that because we are only human, and we have egos and we have feelings, and for a lot of us, art is a very personal thing, and it's very closely, especially if you like myself. I'm always someone who and by the way, if you're not on the email list on my website, check it out in the just go to my website in the link below, sign up, because I'm starting this this dialogue, this narrative about my own history, and I go over a lot of this myself. But I was always kind of like the best within the very small circle of people that I happened to be in. You know, from grade school to high school to college, I was always sort of the best artist that did what I did, essentially. And so for me, because I was in such a small bubble, and because I sort of held on to that as an identity thing, it became quite a destructive mindset for me, and it really set me back in terms of my own artistic development. I mean, I would be leagues ahead of where I am right now if I had recognized earlier on that that I'm not the best, which I don't think I actually thought that, but it was always kind of present in some way, and B that I have to work hard every day if I want to make this happen, if I want to improve my skills, if I want to actually progress, because I can't just sort of ride off of my talents for the rest of my life, which talent is just what you're kind of given at the beginning. It's not skill. But anyway, as this relates to your point, Sam, it's very easy for a lot of us to sort of associate our own self-worth with our art skill, and that's where that difficulty arises when you see something in your painting that looks horrible. You see that, and there's this loop that happens. You see it, you're like, oh, I created that. I must be a bad artist, or I must, even if you're not thinking it literally, it's just like, I must be doing something wrong here, or I you know, me, like this kind of dialogue starts, and that's exhausting. And that, I'm not saying it is necessarily, but that may be what you're experiencing on some level. And I know I have definitely experienced that quite a lot, and I think every artist does to a certain extent. And also just because of the nature of the medium, it's highly creative. There's a lot of personal input, and for some people, it's an expressive medium as well. So they're they're expressing themselves through their art in a very intimate, vulnerable way. And so when you see something that isn't working, it can be very draining, very, very exhausting, and very hard to push through. As far as practical ways to move past that, I mean, obviously that's like a very deep psychological trail to follow there. There are practices unrelated to art that you can engage in to help with that, such as meditation, various exercises like that, breathing relaxation exercises, even just anything you can do to keep yourself in a very, calm, relaxed state. But beyond that, beyond being relaxed, to be able to look past look past yourself. Like, your art has nothing to do with you, really. Like, it's not, you happen to be the the creator here, but it's not about you. It's not about your role here or your self-worth. It's about the art. It's about whether it looks good. It's about whether it feels good. And ultimately, the truth is, you are not going to create something good without going through a lot of ugly phases first. You're not and that applies on every scale, from like on the scale of an individual piece. Like, your piece isn't going to develop without there being like some really ugly phases in between. And it also goes for your skills generally. Like, you are not going to become a good artist without creating some terrible work. And I think like the most destructive mindset you can have, which again I elaborate on in this little narrative I've put together, is there's no point in creating anything if it's not going to look good. That is like the single worst thing you can do for yourself and your own progress. It's just a matter of developing that mindset of knowing, first of all, like, you have created something good. You have created something that you've enjoyed at least the process of, or you've enjoyed the product of. You're capable of that. So that's one fact right there. If you've done it once, you can do it any number of times. So knowing that's just a truth about your process. That's one thing to keep in mind. B, knowing that you don't always know how to get there, and you're still learning. You don't know how to replicate that necessarily. Yeah, you may have made something really nice, but you still don't really know how to do that every time, and that's okay. You might have a 30% success rate. You might have like a 5% success rate. That's still, but the more the more you work on it, the more you push past that phase, the more you will learn to appreciate that and to improve your success rate with a particular skill. So, if you're in that position and you find it really difficult to move forward, if you're just meeting so much resistance that it's just agony to continue painting, just stop. Just take a break, walk away, take a walk. Well, that's my number one strategy for being blocked in anything. Take a walk, look at something else, come back, look at some other art, maybe even look at some of your old pieces that you like, figure out what you did well there that was working. Look at other artists' work, figure out what's working for them. And when I say look at other artists' work, I don't necessarily mean, be like, oh, look at all these great artists, I'm so terrible, Really look at it objectively. Look at, like, what are they doing? What kind of skills are they employing? What do their shapes look like? What does their lighting look like? Are they using references? And that's the other thing. If you're not using references, find some. If I weren't streaming right now, I'd be going through finding some great references to use. Maybe even copying in some photo textures where I really don't know what I'm doing. These are all tools that are available to you as a digital artist, or even if you're a traditional artist. You can still use references. You can still make a study within your painting and use that. All professional artists do this. And so that's another great way to move past that point. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different tools you can use to move past that. But the most important thing is just understanding that you will move past it if you just keep working on it. And you already know you have the skill to do that. Oh, hey Inez, nice to see you here. Yes, the ugly phases of art. You can't move. You can't not have them. That's the other thing. If you're trying to convince yourself that you're going to become a great artist without creating something terrible, you're deluding yourself, and you're doing disservice to yourself and everyone around you. Besides, I mean, not that you should take this as an excuse not to develop your own skills, but other people are going to see your art much differently than you are, and they might like it a lot more than you do. Show it to some friends, show it to some other people, see what they think, see what their input is. They might be able to tell you what they really like about it. They might be blown away by it, which can just shift your perspective immediately, or even more, perhaps even more, what I think is more valuable, they might tell you what isn't working, something that you missed. They might tell you what they're confused about. Even a quick general impression, to someone, it doesn't even have to be an artist. Just be like, hey, like, what does this look like to you? And they're like, oh, it looks like a duck. And you're like, oh, well, it was supposed to be a pterodactyl, so clearly I'm not doing something right. But hey there, Draw with Artma, welcome. Welcome to the stream here, and nice to hear you've just started doing some streaming. I'll have to check it out. I'll check out your channel after this. And yes, Inez, to answer your question, the book recommendation, Creativity and the Campfire by Marco Bucci, another artist you have to check out here on YouTube, but also check out his website, and he has an audiobook version of it, or a download, and I think he's still selling hard copies as well. Check it out. It's very short. It's a great read. He's an incredible teacher, and a great writer, and he just has a very simple, straightforward, but also, like, for me, just kind of a revolutionary approach to creativity generally, but also like this a lot of misconceptions artists have about talent and skill and sort of their role as an artist relative to other creators. So check that out. Yeah, that's a great read. I think one of the most important points that I sort of took from that particular piece is he talks about talent versus skill, and like for like his story, from what I remember, it's very different from my own. He actually was not very good at drawing or painting as a kid, but he knew a lot of other people that were way better than him, and unlike myself, where I feel I kind of never had I always felt like I was the best in the class, and the best artist around, and I so like I sort of developed some really poor creative habits around that. It took me a long life. I've just been spending the past 5 years, like past 3 years even, just trying to deliberately rework all of the poor habits I developed, because I never challenged myself, because I always thought that my talent, that is the sort of creative skills I had very early on, I always just sort of assumed that would just give me a full ride into whatever I needed to do, and it's just not the case. And like what you see, the point he kind of makes is what you see in artists is the people that are not, quote unquote talented, the people that don't have that head start, they learn these creative habits, what you need to do very early on. They know that they need to work hard, they know they need to target specific skills, and they know that they're not the best. But if you can maintain that mindset and continue to work, he was like motivated to be as good as these other people around him. And like he tried to copy their drawings and like tried to emulate what they were doing. So he was doing this for years and years. Meanwhile, these other these other talented kids were just kind of like, myself, we're just sort of like slacking off, just like, as soon as I graduate, I'm just gonna get handed all these art gigs, and so they just get passed by all these other people that were not very good to begin with. And even like people now, if you haven't no matter what your age is or whenever, if you haven't started painting, or if you're just sort of, you feel like you're behind, or you don't feel like you're talented enough, like you have an edge. Like you've been working, the value of work, what your skills are at, and the time and the dedication you need to put in to improve. So I definitely that's just a really valuable insight that he offered, and he elaborates on it much more eloquently than I can. But check it out. Oh yeah. Oh, that's Artma. That's funny, and it's really nice having your perspective in here too, because it's super. I feel very like this for me. This piece for me has been. I streamed the first 2 hours of this 2 weeks ago, and I was just having a totally off day at the time. So I think it started out pretty rough, and up to this point now, like almost 4 hours in this piece later, this is still like 100% ugly fades for me. And I think even last time, like there were some people in this stream that were disagreeing with me, and you may disagree with me right now as well. You may totally agree, and that's fine. It honestly doesn't matter that much to me whether you do or not, because like I know my own standards at this point. And I know what I'm capable of creating, and I've seen what other artists have created, and I know like this is just not close to the kind of standards that I want to have in my work. But I'm going through with it, and I'm definitely getting more used to the live stream component of that, because like I do feel super vulnerable. Like going through this phase, and there have been some other streams in the past, you can find them on here, where I just I did a sort of a similar thing and just like trudged my way through it, and I was just like, I have to have something for you guys, but like honestly this painting is garbage. But I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with this now, not like I was last time, so like that's great. I'm just sort of going through this, and that's the thing. I'm still continuing, and there's some spots like this over here. I like this. I like where this is headed, and I feel like the material is starting to shape up a little bit. Everything else is like not working for me at all right now, but I'm not right, yeah, just stick around, it'll get better. Don't worry. No, I don't think I would ever promise that to someone in these streams, or at least I try not to. It's like, I can't guarantee I'm gonna give you a really nice looking painting here, but that's not the point of this. If you want to see me create some good work, check out my portfolio, or I do make more deliberate tutorial videos, and stuff like that. I release those every Wednesday. So like, you know, this, I guess I've sort of come to learn that this time is not necessarily for showing you guys like the best work that I can create, but I want to talk to you. I want to know what's going on with you guys, and I want to just sort of key you into my process, let you know what's going on behind things, and of course, cue the dramatic music here. What is this? I hate this song, but it always comes up at like the most dramatic moments. It's like the end of the movie soundtrack. So it's very apt that it showed up here. Anyway, believe in yourself. Right. I'm actually... Oh, there it is. It's over. Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Welcome, Soul Ring 7. Welcome, and glad to hear you're thinking this is looking nice, and yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think these stairs I've been working on for like an hour and like reworking them and everything, but yeah, they're starting to look okay. I'm going in with the smudge tool, and that's actually sometimes a really nice way to articulate details. Actually, the smudge tool in Photoshop is very different from the one in Procreate, if you use that at all. And I use both, but it's sometimes I don't really know what to do with both of them, but you can see it's really useful for just sort of like pulling out these little details, and that's mostly what I use it for in Photoshop. With Procreate, I use it more for like actually smudging and like blurring things a little bit and like blending. So anyway, I've got like 9 minutes here. I'm gonna do the regular 2-hour cutoff here because I got some other stuff to do. I gotta go out and take a walk and hang out with some people, make the most of my Sunday here. But I'm gonna go into this guy and maybe try to sharpen up some of his details a little bit. So at least the star of the show is looking his best. Cue dramatic music. I should really take this off my playlist. I'm just using all these great stock sounds, or stock music from like YouTube and from Epidemic Sound, and it's all great. I'm really glad it's there. But I'm starting to get into orchestration and scoring and that kind of thing. I mean, not really, but like I'm barely like just starting to scratch the surface, because I play music, but I haven't done so much composing recently, even though I used to do that a lot and I really enjoyed it. But I work with a lot of people at Evident that do that kind of stuff and have courses on it, and it's really cool, and I want to start creating more soundtracks and stuff, and I think once I get that setup going, I can start making my own music for these streams, and my videos, which would be really cool. Anyway, yeah, for now I've got these stock sounds and they're doing okay. They're really holding their weight here. Yeah, so I didn't get to see some of your other responses there about what's going on with you guys right now, and in terms of what you're working on, or even just like how things are going with your work and your art in the pandemic. or not even necessarily the pandemic, but just like your state right now, like what you're working on, what you're struggling with, whatever. Feel free to just drop that in the comments and let me know. I'd just love to chat about it and hear what you guys are, what you're doing, and maybe what projects you're working on. If there's any like difficulty you're having with a particular thing, or speed bumps you're hitting with your artwork, or just, you know, life in general. I mean, you know, that's it's just what I want to use this time for. Just catch up with you guys, see how you're doing, and you know, see if there's anything I might be able to offer. I mean, I still have so much to learn myself, about art, about life. Obviously, everyone does. But I don't know. I've learned a few things. I've learned a lot, man, in the past. Just in the past year, just in the past like 6 months, I've learned so many things. It's crazy, and it's exciting when you have those moments in life, and you're just like everything just starts clicking, and you really you know, that's why getting older is awesome. I mean, everyone's getting older every day, but I've been loving it. Like, yeah, obviously I'm not that old, but I'm older than I was, and life just keeps getting better. It's crazy. I guess it always depends upon where you start, you know. But yeah, and it's not just like it's not like things just are happening to me. Like, I've learned new things. I've learned what I need to do to keep myself going, and to like do the things that I want to do, to have the habits that I need to have to sustain myself, and to make the art that I want to make, and to make a living out of it. You know, it's just the process of learning is just, it's thrilling, really. Using the smudge tool again to just push around some of this guy's details. I suppose I should go back to this face because it's still pixelated from the screenshot I used here. But again, I'm just going to try to be careful not to, because I really liked the general shapes I set up here, so I'm going to try not to mess with that too much. Well, thank you. Glad you think it's fabulous. I think we're getting there. Very slowly. Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty glad about it myself. Inez is, if you guys don't know, she's been a huge supporter of my work, and actually is really in a way responsible for my a lot of my beginnings as a professional artist. So thank you so much for that, and it's really great to hear. She's been watching my work for a while, and so it's really great to hear that from you. You of all people would know. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you've improved at all. And it's good to have people coming in there every now and then saying that you have, but it's also good to be able to know that for yourself. I mean, sometimes I'll see some old work in my portfolio, even just from a year ago. I'm like, dang man, what was I thinking? I feel like that is horrible. Of course, like I said, I still create horrible work all the time, but flawed, I should say, maybe. No, it's okay. I create terrible work all the time, but that's just for me. That's for myself. That's for learning. It's not for the public. Except when I create horrible work on my live streams, then that's for the public. So enjoy it. But yeah, it's really great to be able to create work that you don't think is good quality, and to not take it personally. I guess if there's anything I want to impart to you today, and thanks to Sam for bringing this up in the first place, but it's really important. It's really awesome to be able to create work that to be able to separate, to create stuff that is not good, it's not working, it's not quality, and to just see that, and just and to not be burdened by it. That's I can't tell you exactly how to get there, but just think about it as a goal for yourself, maybe, and just take some time to investigate what you need to do to make that happen, because that's going to be your most powerful tool as an artist, to be able to be your own worst critic in a non-negative way, in a way that doesn't hurt you, that doesn't bring you down, that doesn't drain your energy, to just be able to look at this stuff and be like, all right, that's not working at all, let's try something else, or let's take a break, or let's work on a different part of this painting. If I was really struggling with all this, I could just move down here and start working on this guy, and I would still be developing this painting, but I wouldn't be just sort of mashing, just sort of mashing away at this process, So I'm gonna put this piece on pause. I'm probably not gonna continue this for my next live stream, because I wanna start something fresh for you guys, and hopefully maybe do another one and done. I've definitely had some really nice pieces that I've created in 1 to 2 hour session here. So I'll take another stab at that next time. If you have any ideas about what you want to see in this live stream, anything you want addressed as far as specific skills, or anything you just want to see in terms of content, if you have any ideas about what you want me to make, just drop it in the comments on this video, or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, or shoot me an email if you're on the email list. If you haven't gotten on there, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm releasing a lot of new email content these days, and stuff for you guys to take advantage of. I also have the brush pack that I use for these videos available in the description for the link below, and you can find a lot of cool stuff like that on my website. So thank you all for joining me again today. This has been a really fun one, even though I didn't get a finished piece here, and still in the quote-unquote ugly phase. I've had a lot of fun with this, and I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys. So oh yeah, once again, if you haven't already, just go ahead and subscribe here, so you can check these videos out. the live streams every Sunday and the new video every Wednesday. So I hope you all are doing well out there, and keep in touch, and take care.